Hello, beautiful people. In today's episode, I am going to share with you what I know now about intuition that I wish I had known much sooner, like as far back as I can consciously go. Welcome to the Mary Dee Show. I'm your host, Mary Dee, here to be your guide as we extract wisdom and life lessons from top CEOs, thought leaders, artists, spiritual luminaries, and wellness experts. My intention is to bring you value in every show that sparks an idea, helps you break a limiting belief, or encourages you to create thoughts that uplevel your life so that you can know from the deepest parts of your soul that everything you want is available to you and that abundance is your birthright. In 2018, I healed from breast cancer holistically after surgery without the use of chemotherapy or pharmaceuticals. I love biohacking and plant medicine and exploring spirituality and what it means to be in relationship with spirit so that we can feel whole and complete no matter what life throws at us. My specialty in the business world is strategy and leadership, and my gift to each of you is my ability to listen so that I can help others see themselves. In each episode, I want to sprinkle you with some hope dust, tickle your funny bone, and inspire you to find your inner roar. Get ready to live your most aligned, purposeful, and joy-filled life now, and enjoy the show. Open up a portal that invites you back in to your ability to fully tap into your intuition so that you're fully guided by source over human conditioning that isn't even completely yours. The dictionary describes intuition as the ability to understand something immediately without the need for conscious reasoning. I guarantee you that intuition is not something you have to learn, but rather something you already have. And you might say, no, I don't feel that tuned in. And what I want you to consider is that what has actually happened is that you've always had your intuition, and you in fact learned how to negotiate against it or with it. And you learn how to allow outside influence to create so much noise in your head that it's disconnected you from what you already had, from your knowing, from your intuition. I've heard some people also describe intuition as a sixth sense. And I actually believe that it's a natural part of our designed makeup, just like seeing or smelling and hearing. Some of us just have developed more confidence in some of those tastes and abilities over others because we're more tapped in, right? It's like how that one friend of yours can smell every single thing and others struggle with it. Intuition is an energy and a vibration, just like understanding when someone is speaking our language. Most of the time, we literally speak in the same tongue or language, but other times we communicate nonverbally, and those nonverbal words can speak louder than actual words. Earlier this week, I had a thought about a lady named Debbie. And Debbie's very special to me because the way things came together was through intuition and synchronicity and fate. You know, the universe connecting the dots. Debbie was at the same vet office that I was, and she was there on a day where I was loading up 7 little puppies because my dog had just had little babies and we were getting them their first set of shots. And Debbie and her husband were coming in to put down a very old white lab. And as she went inside, my partner at the time was super upset because he had stopped to talk to them on the way out and realized what was happening. Here we were getting, puppy shots, and there they were going to have to put down their beloved pet. And he felt really compelled and said, hey, I really feel like we should offer them one of these puppies. And I was like, sure, absolutely. I go in and I leave my number. And sure enough, Debbie calls me a few days later and says, thank you for the offer, but I actually don't take puppies. I like to take labs that are needing rehoming or labs that are older. And we usually have, 2 or 3. And that's really what we're looking for. Do you happen to have one that's maybe 2 years old? And at the time I said, no, we literally just have this litter of puppies and most of them are spoken for. They're, full breed chocolate labs. And that's okay. If you don't want one, no problem. And we kind of hung up from there and I didn't think about it again. As it would happen, a couple of years pass, and one of the puppies that I'd given to my niece, she ended up having to give back to me because her dad passed away. And it was just a tumultuous time for my sister and her family. And here we were inheriting back this little puppy, and it gave us a third in our home, a third dog. And we weren't quite prepared for that, but we made the best of it. We love dogs. And as we got to know this puppy and train her and make her part of the family in a way where she was much more obedient because she was a wily little dog who had not been disciplined, she kind of found her space with us. And at the same time, she was a little bit of an odd gal out because she was always the third dog. Lo and behold, I get a phone call from Debbie. And Debbie says, hey, we are in the market again for ideally a lab that needs a home again. Do you happen to have anything? And I said, wow, it's amazing that you would call me right now, Debbie, because a few months ago, I just got one of the puppies back. And I explained the situation to her. And she said, I'm super interested in that lab. And I said, okay, let's go find out. So we ended up meeting up with her and her other dog to make sure that they'd get along. They got along just fine. And she ended up taking that dog. That dog's name was Kiwi. And Debbie has had Kiwi for the last 12 years. And these last 12 years, Debbie has never, ever let a year go by where on the birthday, which the puppies were born on my birthday, which is March 1st, she will send me a message and say, happy birthday to Kiwi Dee and to Mary. And thank you so much for Kiwi. She's such a delight. I'm so happy to have her. She makes my life so much better. And then once in a while, I'll get random ones from her at Christmas or throughout the year. And Debbie is always just gracious and happy and just in love with this dog who sleeps on her couch and in the bed and eats hot dogs every day and has just lived this life of going to the dog park and taking a walk and really living her best life. And as it so happened, this last week, I got a ping. And I say a ping, meaning my intuition, my inner knowing, just said, why don't we reach out to Debbie this time and just ask her how she's doing? We know that Kiwi is getting up there. She's 14, which was the age that Kiwi's mom was when she passed away. And let's just reach out. And as I reached out, Debbie said, yeah, no problem. I'll ring you tomorrow. And then within moments, she FaceTimes me and she tells me, and she's crying. So Debbie is now crying as she's FaceTiming me. And she says, I'm so sorry. She's like, I actually lost Kiwi. She passed on. She passed on actually on Memorial Day. And I was like, wow, Memorial Day. That was not that long ago. And she's just upset and grieving and just in it and can barely bring herself to explain the whole story to me because she just can't really compose herself. And my heart really went out to Debbie. This is a woman who we had a ping of intuition to offer her a puppy. And at the time, when it didn't work out in that moment, we didn't think too much of it. But it was obviously a beautiful synchronicity that was setting us up for this woman to actually end up being in our lives for all these years and to play such a beautiful part of being a mother to one of those puppies, my grand puppies, and her being such a beautiful dog mom who has just given this dog such a precious life. And I think back to just the joy and the gratitude that has always come from this woman and how beautiful it has been to know someone whose just life has been joyful and she's been able to create so much joy around her living and her being with this gift. And it was a gift for us too, because the third dog for us was actually really tough. We were a 2-dog household and there were so many reasons why that wasn't a great fit for us at the time. And it was just the right thing for her to come along and love that dog so much. And so that's part of intuition. And I think there's lots of ways we could have reasoned ourselves out of some things, but we didn't. And I'm really grateful to Debbie for the life that she gave to Kiwi. And also, my heart goes out to her for all the grief that she also had to go through with that. So let's talk a little bit more about this intuition. And I want to also speak to those of you who may have trouble saying no, because when we people please and when we're making decisions not in our best interest, but maybe out of some sort of scripted guilt, oftentimes we are also ignoring our intuition. We're saying no to our own knowing. And I want to encourage you that if that's you, to know that there is a way for you to unravel some of those knots and straighten those out so that you can be in better alignment with yourself and with your highest purpose. Because our intuition is a sense, and it's there to bless us and to bless others. And you just never know what comes about it unless you follow it. Thank you for joining us on today's show. I hope that today's session inspires you to live an aligned life where you get to take complete ownership of your feelings and decisions to live in your truth. You can connect with me more at www.marydee.com. You can also catch us on YouTube at The Mary Dee Show. Head on over to Instagram and Facebook and type in @TheMaryD and just look for the little blue check to ensure you're on my official page.